Pasha Paroh, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Alright, so look. What we talking about today is basically, I had a great conversation today and I made some notes and I want to share it with you. Hold on a second. Let me kill this real quick. All right, turn the ringer down. All right, I think that's good. All right, so all right. Thanks for your patience there, Pasha Paroh. All right, so what we're getting at today is real American men lack trust in U.S. currency and women. All right, we ready to talk about that. And what it boils down to is we feel like you don't like me, right? You in love with your oppressor, and you don't understand how you are being seduced. You know what I mean? Like a common thing right now is, this movement on, everybody's a queen now, right? So, so it's like, what we gotta understand first of all is the word queen, the energy in that, the etymology of that is prostitute. So, if you feel like you a prostitute, then call yourself a queen. There's no difference between trying to say that a bitch is a female dog, so I don't call myself a bitch, and then call yourself a queen when a queen is a prostitute, and then try to say you're not doing prostitute-y things. Okay? Like in chess, you play chess and it's like, oh, people might try to take your queen from you, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, I don't own women. They don't own me. I don't do titles. See, I can't relate to possession beyond, ones that I invoke or evoke. Because when you're a real American man, when you're in that God mentality, that God body mindset, God, body, and mind, so to speak. Let me not get that misconstrued with other titles. But when you're on that vibration, you in control of what possess you. I got the song that says prostitute in the Constitution, posh. I guess y'all ain't get it. And maybe by 2035 they'll understand. So see, so when you play chess, right, go back to chess. A lot of people don't get. A lot of people always playing to win. Like, I gotta win. You know what I mean? And it does something for their psyche, right? So I learned that just like in business, you know what I mean? When you do business with people, let me look it up real quick. What 48 law of power was it? I think it was 22. You catch a fool by playing a fool, right? Law 21. Play. Yeah, okay, it says 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. So, what it is when you kind of slide that into your life, right? Like you playing chess. Sometimes I play chess. I don't be playing to win. I play to get a good understanding of what the other person values. It kind of helps you read their mindset. When you're doing business with people, you know, in the beginning, I'm gonna initially do business with you so I can see how you do business. I got large ideas. The American mindset has ideas. So I gotta see. It's not really not really important who I'm with now, but who can I do business with at that time. You know, so when you see somebody and they feel like they got an extra $100 out of you or something, or they found a way to not give you $100 of the remaining balance or something. Those are the people you're gonna be like, okay, well, if they that way about $100, how could I ever trust them with 10 million? I mean, but then again, you got to be having goals and ideas that you feel like are going to bring you 10 million before you could even be, $10 million deals before you can even consider who you would need in your circle. So, think about that. And it's not now beyond that, like business where chess is the game, what you can see into people's minds, and beyond like business where people might try to manipulate you somehow, get a little cheaper deal, beat you somehow, finesse you. They think they finessing you, and all you realize is that they want to finesse instead of be American, which is an honor. See, an American mindset is based on honor. And there's no honor amongst thieves. That's why the U.S. citizens and United States have the issues and the mindsets that they have. Now, you can't really fault the people that don't know any better until you give them the opportunity to learn. And once you give them the opportunity to learn and they decide they're going to be that way anyway, now it's on them. So you're in a world where you can't trust people to be honest. I mean, I know that sounds, like duh, Pasha, but aren't you like, how do you feel about that? Like you're okay with people that, you're okay with that society? You're okay with that being what you're okay with that, huh? All right. Because see, it's a mindset, it's a mentality. It says, I gotta lie, I gotta do something, you know what I mean? Just be an honor. A lot of the stuff you see on this show, on this channel, YNet7, it's all about truth. What is real? That's why you don't like me. Or that's why they won't like you. Because they are in love with the oppressor and the oppressive system. So your best tools is not to ask people questions. It's actually simply observation. Sometimes you can just take the time with a person to observe, because if you ask them, they're going to tell you what they want you to know. So sometimes you invest the time to observe. That's why in relationships like with man and woman or whatever your cup of tea is, it's like you don't really know a person until y'all move in together. So despite how long y'all think y'all been dating before, why are you wasting time? You might as well just say, look, I mean, as long as you can stand each other, right? Because if you can't stand each other, what the fuck you doing anyway? But y'all might as well be like, look, let's move in together. Or not to say you gave up your place or nothing, right? But this is when you see these relationships where it's like you might have stuff at their place, they might have stuff at your place, if y'all are spending the majority of 7 days a week together, you might as well go ahead and do that up front. If you're gonna say we think about taking this serious, okay, well if that's the case, let's spend the most time every week together, because until you do that, you're not gonna know who the other person is. You're just gonna know who they want you to believe they are. Virgos are efficient. We don't be wasting time about shit. Y'all, other people signs be playing around. They want to play the games and fuck that. Look, I need to know who you are, or else you don't need to be around. All right. So observation is the best tool. Okay, because you got to accept the fact that it's not to even say that the people are purposely trying to be deceitful, or you can't even really say that they're purposely lying to you many times. They just haven't grown enough, either by choice or by default. They just haven't grown enough to realize that they're actually lying to themselves. So by the time they go and open their mouth, they done filled their own head with lies. They done made themselves believe the lies. They in conflict with their own heart, but their mind is in control, not their heart. So by the time they open their mouth to speak to you, they don't realize that they're lying to you. In some cases. So they actually feel, see, this is the problem with emotions. This is the problem with emotional attachments. This is why I don't like emotional people. They're liabilities. So they actually feel. They feel like they're being honest to you and be lying their ass off, whether they know it or not, because they feel like it's the truth. That's why you get in there, oh, it's your truth, my truth, man. It's only one truth. It's infinity. That doesn't mean it's only one variable. That's y'all, we got the video on Why That 7. Go check it out. All right. So you can check that out. Variables versus equations. So you can't fault them because many of them don't even realize they're lying to you. All right, let me check my notes. Let me see where I'm at. I want to give y'all some points. I know y'all be wanting to score. So what that is it makes it difficult, right? It makes it difficult because you might actually have a person that respects wisdom, the knowledge, or even the destination, the goal. However, they surrounded by ones that don't. That's going to be a conflict of interest. That's going to create another trust issue because how you heard the saying, how can one serve two masters? They can't be loyal to America and want to be a U.S. citizen or want to appease the United States at the same time. It's a conflict of interest. Now, I'm not saying you can't be American and go work with United States citizen. But you can't want to fit in with them. You can't want to be them, because what's going to happen is they're going to apply gaslighting. They're going to apply normative social influence that's going to make you do and say things that are in conflict with honor. And you're going to do that so that you can remain friends with them. And you will, at some point, break your loyalty with the American for sake of pleasing the illusion. And that's with every relationship. And I mean, I'm not just talking people. I'm talking about your relationship with currency too. This is why they're like, oh, let me short you. Let me try to get over on you. Because the relationship with the money, or what they think is the money, it's another illusion. It's currency. So they're willing to sacrifice the honor of America to have a little bit more of the illusion of the United States. But they wonder why you consider them a trust issue. Right? So that's how you get the concept of purge. You know, the mindset of the world needs to be purified. It's how can you say, oh, it's so much corruption in the government, and then say, let me do what the government does to others? I'm CEO, I'm boss, I'm president. Oh, you want to be like government. And like everything else, if we don't do it, Mother Nature, or the Most High, or the universe, or whatever it is you call it, is going to do it for us. That's why the world has been reset over and over again. When you actually get into that rabbit hole of study, you may just know about the flood, supposedly, and Noah's Ark. The world has been reset many times. So that causes a trust issue. And a trust issue is a liability. And that's why at the core, I mean, I know people be like, oh, Pasha, he just get rid of people and he don't even give them a chance. No, I gave him chances. The world gave him chances. So now it's a trust issue. A trust issue is a liability. I just have a certain level of discipline. You have people that do things to you all the time, and you be like, you know what, I ain't like that, but you be like, but I'm gonna call them tomorrow. I'm gonna call them next week, and that might be cool during your observation period because you're just trying to make sure. Well, did they do that on purpose, or was it just a one day they were having a bad day? Let me holler at them. Let me talk to them. Let me see what their mindset was, what their thought process was, whatever. But if once you see that that's who they are, and then you want to, oh, well, you know, that's how they are. Nah, fuck that. Because if they doing business with you and they would rather short you, they could have just told you up front, hey, that's out of my budget. Like, what you lying for? I knew you couldn't afford me. You knew they couldn't afford you probably when you sat down. What you really should be charging is 20 grand. They tell you they having trouble with 500, but you just want to help. And then they still try to, that's why you don't help people. And the only reason they don't want to do the 20 grand is because the people they dealing with shorten their ass, so they can't, there's no money in circulation. We covered that in cost, price, and value video on YNet7. Check it out for your entertainment. So at the core, you begin to eliminate people, mindsets. Americans ain't worried about currency, right? Don't give a shit about that shit. Actually, I would rather get rid of it altogether, because when you know what it is, it's a representation of the nation being enslaved under debt. which then cycles the whole problem to begin with, because now you got people thinking they better than this person because they got more of the illusion, and that's all it is, an illusion. So you get to the point where you start eliminating people with the wrong mindsets. You know, that's what it is. They can't relate to you. The word respect means relate. So disrespect means you don't relate to each other. It doesn't have to be they talked about your mama. Like, that's how, when you get real with the shit, like, y'all don't understand what disrespect really is, because many people play too much. So as soon as you don't relate to a person, oh, well, you know what? Let's just agree to disagree. That's disrespect. But y'all don't know the math. So you can't see the reality. You don't know the truth. Y'all emotional. They emotional. So you eliminate people because it's not even about them at that point anymore. It's about your focus on ROI. See, because you want to be giving to the world around you. You want to give to people. You don't even really need or want nothing in return. You just want to give. But guess what? Your ROI, your return on investment, right? Your return on investment for giving may be what they're going to output into the world. You may have invested in them, not so that you can get something back, but so that they can go and do great things. But if they shorten you, that means they're going to short the people that you try and get them to go help. So now your return on investment is diminished because the quality of character that's why it's a liability. Even if it's just the energy it takes to try and change the world. Even if you just like, yo, look, I don't need nothing from you, just come help me do this. That's why they don't show up. You know? I need people around me that agree with America. That's the destination. The movie said coming to America. It ain't say coming to the United States. See? But many are emotionally attached to the illusion. The illusion of having money. Money ain't real. Money don't even exist anymore since the 30s, but I guess you didn't research that part. It's all currency. So that ain't real. Having things that other don't, well, because the money ain't real and everything came from the earth, free, came from source, free. How you gonna charge for it? The earth didn't charge you for it. The Most High ain't charge you for that idea it gave you. Your higher self didn't charge you for the idea to create whatever. No, you charge for it because you believe in the illusion like everybody else. And instead of fighting to be free, you fight each other for the cost of living. How you gonna have the illusion of being better than others when we supposed to be all the same? See, Americans, this why we can't really, in the back of your mind, even if you don't know it this clearly, in the back of your mind, this is why you don't trust money things, currency things. This is why you don't trust contracts anymore. This is why you don't trust United States women. See, the only thing that separates people is thought process. And just like any other cancer, the wrong thought process will destroy the body. So the body is not only the one, the singular, but it's the household. We talked about it before. It's the neighborhood. That's a body of people. Your whole community. Your city. The company you work for. And eventually, what you think is your country. So you may feel like money isn't everything, but at the same time, you feel like, you feel like that more money makes more things happen for you. And you know what? In the perspective you have, that's true. But what you're doing is you're neglecting, you're kind of viewing the situation from the wrong angle. See, what you got to do is look at, because of money, you're not considering all the things that because of currency you can't do. See, you're okay with that as long as you feel like you're doing the best you can. Because you're not allowed to do the most you can. See, that's the problem with emotional attachments. I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, I mean, on one side, kudos, because you're doing the best you can. On the other side, your best will always be limited by your access to the resources needed. So you're not doing the most. And who's enforcing that upon you? Who's placed that restriction upon you? Oh, but you're okay with it as long as you can partake in the illusion and get your fix of the drug, of the illusion, of the fairy tale. You're okay with that. You're okay with that restriction of being limited. See, Americans, we don't like limitations. That's why we about our rights and our birthrights. And United States citizens are okay with their privileges. And they want to tell you what you allowed to do, what you can do, what you shouldn't be able to do, how you should do it. Well, you shouldn't say it like that. You should say it like this, because when you say it like that, is it the same thing? Yeah, but then it's the truth. Shut the fuck up. I didn't tell you to make sure you came in here with a polka dot shirt on today. What happened to the freedom of speech? You got the freedom to listen too, but that's the problem. People don't listen for comprehension. They be listening so that they can tell you something. So publicly, yeah, I support replacing the Federal Reserve Bank. It's a debt slave system to begin with. But you got to understand, you got to have done the research to know the antiquity of the banking systems that's been upon this land in the last few hundred years. You got to know that the Central Bank of London is what the revolt was about, not the Boston Tea Party. You got to understand that they were separating themselves from the currency slave debt relationship. Then you got to know that Woodrow Wilson sold out what you call your country, and signed a deal so he can get his campaign funded for presidency so that they can start the Federal Reserve Bank, which is the same thing as the Central Bank of London. But y'all too busy preparing for Thanksgiving. And it's not hating on what you call money or those that have more currency, more of the illusion than another. It's that its very existence, remember that, its very existence represents the enslavement of your nation, the enslavement of your people, the enslavement of your mind, which adds to the divide, and divided we fall, which adds to the divide in the mindsets of the people. This is why every time they go to war, they insert a Rothschild banking system into that country when they done. Because if you, who said the quote? I forget the name. Excuse me on that. But the quote is, you give me control of any nation's monetary supply, and it's more powerful than any standing army. So see, like when you get into studying waste, you know, if you have too much of anything, before you need it, it's wasteful. It's wasted production. It's wasted money involved in the production. It's wasted time. Could have been doing something else. You gotta store it somewhere, so it's wasted time in space, and wasted cost of the space that it's in, etc., 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 etc. It's very wasteful to have more than you need of anything. So when you look at that, right, the people that have all this money are wasteful. They either wasted the time to get it, wasted the thoughts they used to create it, they wasted all that stuff, or they're wasting time storing it. It's depreciating in value while they holding on to it, and then they basically are showcasing that they don't have any idea what to do with it. They have no plans, they have no goals beyond what they have already, and they're just sitting on a ton of waste. A pile full of waste. Wasted opportunities. Then when someone comes along full of opportunities, comes around, and you know, they don't want to invest in them. Yo, you need to go make your own currency pile of wasteful money resources. All because they hold on to an illusion with emotional attachments that divide people. So we can't build our own Navy. So we can't afford our own Air Force right now. And you begging for protection from a government that's trying to kill you, as you say. See, those minds are part of the problem. And they'll be included in the reset, because Mother Nature is unforgiving. Because it's retarding the progress while the oppressors are accelerating. That's why you can't tell people what you want. That's why you can't tell people what your plans are. Because what you want in America isn't that shallow. It's deep. And if they ain't got the right mindset, not only are they not going to grasp it or call you crazy or try to put you in the mental hospital, they're going to disappoint you. Because they're not going to be loyal to the destination. They're not going to act. Actually, they are going to act, rather. Let me change that thought. Rather than be. And it's because of it's actually all due to, they may even become part of your resistance. Your family is going to be divided when this goes down. You're going to have brothers fighting brothers, like you heard before. You're going to have fathers trying to kill the son. You're going to have daughters trying to take out their mother. You're going to have grandmothers trying to destroy their great-grandnephews. Because the split, when it happens, there's going to be a large number of people emotionally attached to the oppressors and the system of oppression. And when the system of oppression tells them that Americans are the enemy, their brainwashed selves are literally going to want to destroy you. So that's how the currency is in play. That's why you can't trust it as an American. You can't trust the relationships built around it unless you have the exact like mindsets, like-minded, same destination-oriented people. I be excited when I talk to people because the amazing part is the conscious level or the awareness factor is shared by people that have all different external appearances. And we're going to have to go against a variety of faces and looks because they're going to be on the other side of the mindset. They're going to be agents of the oppressive system. And this is why you can't, as an American, in the back of your mind, you never fully trust women. Because see, women, United States women, are hardwired for survival versus success. See, this is why they encourage their men around them or in their family, or when men they want to, when they start talking about, well, I don't know a man that would or every man I know would, that's that shit, right? So this is why they encourage men to adapt to society instead of making it different. Because if you want to make a change and they with you, like a change to society, right? Their spidey senses go off and say, oh shit, this motherfucker risking our, it's not really our at that point, it's risking their ability to survive because they with you. And this is that, especially if they're fully invested with you, and or this is why they won't fully invest with you. Because to them, they want their ROI focus is on survival, not success. So see, their mindset, the U.S. citizen woman, their mindset favors the oppressors. Think I'm lying? You know I'm all about the truth here. It's American honor, baby. Go back to your books, your stories, your fairy tales about slavery, right? And they tell you that the women raised the men to be strong and dumb because that gave them the best chance for survival in the oppressive state they were in. They tell you that they raised their daughters to grow up to be women who had the wittiness so that they would be more pleasing to the master. Now, what does that tell you? The women in that mindset, who carry that mindset, who carry that generational curse of thinking, are in bed with the quote-unquote masters or the oppressors. And they're going to condition the men around them to fit into the oppressive system instead of building what they need, replacing it. Because see, what that U.S. woman mindset knows is that as soon as your cards fall, they can always get back in bed with the master, the oppressor. See, they tuned into survival, not success. And there's a huge difference between surviving and succeeding. So with all that on the table, when you all worried about you lost some money, you lost a house, you lost a car, you lost your wife, how can you lose something that you never, ever really had? Wake up from the illusion. I'm Pasha Paroh, YNS7. Thank you for tuning.